Christmas at our house never really officially started with the Christmas tree itself. I mean, yeah, sure, we got one, always the day after Thanksgiving. We set it up, lights, ornaments, the whole 9 yards. But it didn't start with the lights or the music, or even the first time my dad pretended to enjoy a Hallmark movie. Christmas officially began the day my mom's Department 56 New England Village came out of the box. Hey, welcome to the 1 Minute Later podcast. I'm Craig, and today I'm taking a little trip back to the Christmas tradition that shaped half of my childhood and mildly traumatized my mom. So, let's go ahead and get started. Now, this thing wasn't a decoration. No. It was a ceremony. You got styrofoam lids, that crinkly white tissue paper, tiny little houses that somehow cost more than our real mortgage. And I'm convinced the set came with an unspoken rule book that only my mom could read. This whole tradition started when I was roughly about 12. We were in a Hallmark store and my mom saw these little lit up houses and just lit up herself. You know, she made this small comment, "Oh, I just love these." And a very rare plot twist, my dad actually caught the hint. And that Christmas, a couple pieces showed up under the tree and the village was born. From then on, it was her project, her town, her zoning laws. Mom decided where every building went, where every tree stood, which little caroler faced which direction. She was the city planner, the mayor, the zoning commission, the HOA itself. I mean, if there had been a village police department, they would have answered to her. Now, my brother and I, well, we were the opposition party. For the most part, we played along. We watched her set everything up just so, and she'd fuss over the power strips and extension cords, and finally, she would plug it in. And the whole room would glow. It's still one of the clearest childhood memories I have, with the lights off, the village lit up, and my mom just standing there, just so proud. And there were so many family moments that happened in that glow. The talking, laughing, sneaking candy, fighting over the last piece of fudge, all of it happened within eyesight of that little ceramic universe. So naturally, my brother and I decided the village needed just a little bit more chaos. Now, the first year we kept it very subtle. There was this tiny mailman figurine, just a guy with an old mail bag walking his postal route, minding his own business. And every day we would move him just an inch. One day he's at the post office, the next day he's at the bakery, the next day he's halfway to the church. It probably was the slowest, quietest cross-country trek you ever seen. And my mom, she never noticed, or at least she never said anything about it. But when it was time to take the village down, the mailman had successfully delivered mail to the entire town. We were very proud boys. And that should have been enough, but it wasn't. 'Cause then came the invasion. One year, my brother and I decided this peaceful, little snow-covered New England town, it needed a full-scale military operation. Like, nothing says, "Oh, holy night," like little plastic green army men descending from the sky. And we didn't just sprinkle a few soldiers around. No. We staged the kind of coordinated assault that would have made Eisenhower pause whatever he was doing and mutter, "Well, that's aggressive." We went all in. Paratroopers. We tied strings to the ceiling so they were dropping behind enemy lines, drifting down onto ceramic rooftops like the world's tiniest airborne division. We declared one empty patch of snow to be a minefield of M&Ms. And we took the painstaking care, by the way, in the color selection. Green for camouflage. Red because it looked a little dramatic. We were both artists and tacticians. We hung World War II airplanes around the entire village. We set up a flanking mission around the mayor's house. We even created little backstories. We had Corporal Jenkins, who was stationed on top of the church steeple, who had written a heartfelt letter home to his sweetheart, Betty Lou, promising he'd be back by New Year's. And then there was Lieutenant Harris, positioned behind the bakery, who had seen enough gingerbread for 3 lifetimes and wasn't about to lose another man to an icing-related slip hazard. And then our masterpiece, a tiny green army man version of raising the flag over Iwo Jima, right there in the middle of my mom's perfect Christmas scene. We positioned them with the seriousness of museum curators. This wasn't a joke. This was strategy. This was legacy. This was our personal Operation Snowfall. It was, and I do say this humbly, our D-Day. And somehow, it took my mom over a week to notice. Yeah, she'd walk by the village, she'd glance at it, adjust a tree, light a candle, nothing. Meanwhile, every time someone came over, my brother and I would just hover nearby, waiting for a gasp, a scream, or an international incident. Well, the moment finally came, and it was perfect. We had company over. The grown-ups were in the living room. Mom walked by the village mid-conversation and just stopped and turned and leaned in, and you could see it hit her. Her eyes got big, her jaw dropped slightly, and you could tell her first instinct was to spin around and chase us through the house, promising to paddle our butts like any good 90s mom would. But there were witnesses, so instead she just kind of laughed. This little tight laugh that said, "I love my boys, and also I'm mentally grounding you for a month." And we ate that up. We told that story every single year, and we still do. We still talk about that invasion, about the chaos we added to our perfect little world and how much it drove her nuts in the best possible way. And somewhere along the way, the village got passed down to me. Yeah. And when I say the village, I don't mean one box. I'm talking about 15 totes in the basement, an entire subdivision of Christmas real estate. It's less of a decoration and more of a seasonal infrastructure project. Same houses, same pieces, same mom asking every year, "So did you put up the village yet?" And she still cares about it. It still matters to her. And now it's my job to keep it alive. I think of myself as a fair dictator. I'm still in charge of the layout, but there's a lot more super glue involved. Because once a village moved to our house, things started breaking. A chimney here, a lamppost there, the casualties of 3 kids in real life. My girls, Sadie and Piper, they just can't help themselves. To them, the villagers aren't decor, they're toys. They have backstories, drama, probably a love triangle or two. And I'll walk by, and suddenly the little choir director is face down in the snow, and the baker is in the middle of the street like he's about to get hit by a horse-drawn Uber. And every time there's this tension in me, the part that wants to protect the tradition, and then there's the part of me that remembers being a kid who invaded it in the first place. But you know what? This year, it's different. Because this year, the village is still in storage. 15 totes, untouched, stacked like silent little sentries in the basement, waiting and watching and judging me. Life with 3 crazy kids has been a lot. You know, sports, school events, work, trying to remember if anybody fed the dog, not to mention just collapsing on the couch at the end of the day like we're training for the Sleep Olympics. And I keep catching myself saying, I just don't have the time. And I hate that, because deep down, I know that's not true. We always have time. We just choose it on other things. Sometimes we choose scrolling. Sometimes we choose another load of laundry. And sometimes we choose staring at the wall, calling it recharging, which, to be fair, it might be. But I forget that when I look at those totes, what I'm seeing isn't work. I'm seeing memories. I see my mom in that Hallmark store. I see my dad actually getting the hint. I see 12-year-old me watching the room glow for the first time. I see that ridiculous army invasion. And I see my mom's face when she noticed it and had to laugh. And now, I see my own kids, years from now, telling stories about how dad always waited too long to get the village out. But somehow it always made it. And I'll be honest, this year, I've been waiting to feel like it. To have the motivation and the energy. The perfect calm evening where everyone's in a good mood and the house is clean and the Christmas music is playing and we all set it up together like some kind of commercial for Folgers. That night's not coming. That night has never existed, as a matter of fact. What I do have is 15 totes in the basement. A mom who's asking if the village is up. The kids who will absolutely weaponize those villagers the second they get their hands on them. And this weird ache in my chest that tells me this little tradition matters more than the effort it takes. If I'm honest, I would have never cared about ceramic Christmas village on my own. It's not my thing. I didn't choose it. But knowing the memories it made, the laughter, the chaos, the glow, I can't really imagine Christmas without it now. So maybe tonight, after the kids go to bed, I'll stop waiting up. Feel like it. I'll just head downstairs, drag those totes out one by one, clear a little space, and start setting up my mom's village again. Uneven snow, broken chimneys, even some green army men maybe. And something tells me the troops are gonna find their way back in. And I think that might exactly be the point. Hey, thanks for spending this little slice of Christmas with me. If nothing else, I hope it nudges you towards the tradition you've been putting off. Not because it's perfect, but because it's yours. I'm Craig, and you've been listening to the 1 Minute Later podcast. I'll see you next time, probably in the basement, knee-deep in styrofoam snow.